Today, I'm going to teach you how to use the imparfait in French. Let's begin. Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à Koala Hugs. Je m'appelle Kristen, and if you're interested in learning French, English, or tips and tricks and inspiration for helping you learn another language out there, then be sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe for all future videos. Stick around to the end of this video and you'll learn when to use the imparfait versus when to use the passé composé. Now, l'imparfait. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is it? Well, it's a tense you use to talk about the past. Sure, okay. Why is it called the imparfait? Is it because it's so hard I'm never going to be perfect at it? Well, not with that attitude, but no. I actually always wondered this myself, so I finally looked it up, and according to the internet, it is derived from the word imperfectus in Latin, and it means an ongoing, prolonged, unfinished, uncompleted action. And that's exactly what the imparfait is. Now, we could break this down into 4 different ways we would use it. Number 1, past habits or past repeated actions. Example of this would be, tous les jours, je faisais mes devoirs. Number 2, descriptions of the past. Here's an example. Quand il était plus jeune, il portait des pantoufles Batman. Number 3, an indeterminate action or moment. Avant, elles habitaient au Canada. And number 4 would be when you're telling a story, the context you're giving for the events that happen in that story are the imparfait, while those events are the passé composé. Sounds a little confusing, but let me give you an example in English first. The other day, I was walking to the store when I ran into some old friends. The I was walking to the store is the context, kind of the setup for the event, me running into my friends. And therefore, that first part is imparfait. Now, here's an example. Hier, il faisait très beau, alors j'ai fait une promenade avec mon chien. If that was all too textbooky for you, then see if this works for you. Basically, if it used to happen but doesn't anymore, imparfait. If you wanted to say in English, I was something or I used to something, imparfait. If it's just something you did all the time when you were younger but you no longer do it, imparfait. Have you learned the Passé Composé in French yet? Let me know down in the comments if you have. But if you have, remember how confusing and complicated it was? Well, that is not the case with the imparfait. So what you're going to do is take a verb in the present tense we form. Then you're going to drop the present tense ending and add the imparfait ending. And then you're done. It's that easy. So here are the imparfait endings. Et, ion, ie, and a. And yes, you heard me, over half of those sound exactly the same. They're written differently, but this is why I find French to be hilarious, because so many things just aren't pronounced. As a pro bonus tip, remember all these endings, because they are the same exact ones you will use for the conditional present tense. Let's conjugate the verb boire as an example. So in the present tense, I would say je bois, as well as nous buvons. So we're going to take bouffe in nous buvons and turn it into the imparfait. So it would be je buvais, tu buvais, il buvait, nous buvions, vous buviez, and il buvait, ou elle buvait. With the verb savoir, to know, in the present tense, it's nous savons. So for the imparfait, we would conjugate it as je savais, tu savais, elle savait, nous savions, vous saviez, and elle savait. Now there's one irregular verb that you'll want to know right off the bat, and it's être, because être just does its own thing and always likes to be irregular for one reason or another. To conjugate it, you would do as followed. J'étais, tu étais, il était, nous étions, vous étiez, and ils étaient ou elles étaient. See, I told you l'imparfait wasn't that hard, but you know what is challenging? Knowing when to use l'imparfait versus when to use the passé composé. But don't worry, I got you. Now, in a previous video, I explained how to use the Passé Composé. If you are needing a refresher on that, you should definitely watch that video. I'll link a description down below as well as right here. So for the Passé Composé, I would use that to talk about past, one-time, non-reoccurring events. It happened, it's over, it's done. Or also, if I were to talk about specific events that I knew the exact duration of. So if I wanted to say from the ages of 5 to 9, I took swimming lessons, I'd use the Passé Composé for that because I used to do that, but it's over, it's done, it's not happening anymore. And as we already talked about for the Imparfait, we'd use that for general memories, descriptions, or habits. Alors, l'imparfait et le passé composé. Now these two tenses are often taught back to back. That's because they're very commonly used when speaking, as well as the fact that they complement each other. You could probably say that they are two sides of the same past tense language coin. The analogy made better sense in my head. Let's see if this helps. Spoilers, but remember in the Infinity Wars when Thanos snaps his fingers and over half the universe goes bye-bye? Yeah, well, that instance, that action, that event would be the Passé Composé. It happened once and never again. Now, also spoilers, do you remember when Spider-Man died? That was really sad and long and stretched out. So I would use the imparfait to describe the manner in which he died, which was really sad. If you've already learned the imparfait and the passé composé, how did your teachers teach you the difference between the two? And if you have any analogies or examples, I would love to hear them since mine aren't that good. Put them down in the comments below. All right, so you now have an idea of when to use the imparfait and the passé composé, but maybe that doesn't really fully help you when you're in the middle of a conversation and you can't really take the time to say, wait, is this happening in the past, but has it happened only one time? Is it continuous? What exactly do I do? It's just kind of vague. But what I'm about to tell you will help you confidently walk into any French conversation and start using the imparfait or the passé composé and know that you're using it correctly. Now, there's a term called chunking. And yes, it sounds weird, but it's when you learn vocabulary in context. Basically, instead of learning one individual word at a time, which will take you forever, you learn a set of words or phrases, and you're able to add these to your lexicon and use them right away without having to stop and see if it's conjugated correctly or if it's just works. You already know it flows. So this was how I was able to say correct things like je voudrais and j'aimerais bien and even il faut que tu sois long before I even knew the conditional present or the subjunctive even existed. So here's a list of phrases you could use at the beginning of your sentence that when you do, you know your next verb you're going to conjugate will be in the imparfait. And these are the ones you would use, same thing, but for the passé composé. Here's an example in the imparfait. Quand j'étais plus jeune, souvent je lisais des livres. Here's an example in the passé composé. Entre 10 et 13 ans, j'ai eu un hamster. And with that, thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, helpful, you even learned something, then smash that like button, hit subscribe, the notification bell, and be sure to share this video with anyone you know who is learning the imparfait. And I will be seeing you real soon. Ciao!